Hi, so we're inside for this video because it's a lovely sunny day again, but I have tried to make this video about 4 or 5 times outside and I kept getting kind of interrupted by people or the wind or something, so I thought let's just do it inside. So hopefully this is like 6 times the charm. I had thought that I was going to go through the major arcana chronologically, so that would mean the next card would be number 1, the Magician. But I really want to talk about this one card in particular because it feels very, very apt right now, and that is number 16 in the major arcana. That is the Tower. This was the one card that I was always really afraid of drawing. Even the Death card means like a natural ending to something and a natural beginning to something else. So there's quite a lot of positives in that. This card is just all the badness of the Death card with not much of the light positivity or relief. It's just like complete chaos and disaster. And I first drew this card on November 9th, 2016, which was the day of the presidential election where Trump ended up being elected president. I was in New York City. I went with my husband to the polling station. I couldn't vote, but I went with him, and there was a feeling of real kind of positivity and energy in New York City because everyone was sure, of course, that Hillary Clinton was going to win. I think even Trump was sure that Clinton was going to win. And so everyone was feeling really great. We're going to have our first female president. The New York Times was, it was like an 89% chance that Hillary Clinton was going to get in. And then, of course, she didn't, and we had Trump, and it just felt like we'd all been knocked off our feet. It's hard to imagine now, a time pre-coronavirus, and we've had however many years of Trump as president, nearly 4 years, right? So it's hard to remember how shocking that was at the time. But it really felt like, when I pulled this card that day, I was like, nah, it can't be. And then the next day I was like, whoa, that was actually really apt and really kind of bizarre that I would pull that card for that day. Coincidence, I'm sure, unless I do have hidden magic powers that I don't yet know about. But so in this card, this is the Rider-Waite deck, Rider-Waite-Smith deck again. And as you can see, that we have this tower here. This crown on the top, so it's been struck by lightning, this crown on the top represents our kind of institutions and our regimes and all the things that we've kind of put in control, that have power over us, put our faith in. And it's even that is being toppled. Everything is being destroyed. These two figures here are falling out. Everything's on fire. It's stormy. It's awful. So this is kind of like act of God out of the blue, just complete disaster that we could not have anticipated and feels very unfair and isn't a kind of like natural ending to something. This is just like, whoa, shit, what happened? And that kind of feels to me like what is happening right now. We thought we were strong, we thought we could deal with this, and then this virus comes along and everything that we had put faith in starts to crumble. Like, what happens when we all buy one extra toilet roll pack a week, There's no toilet roll for anyone. All the things that we had kind of set up and we were very confident in, the strain is cracking them now. And also, we're being asked a lot to think about the vulnerable people in our society. So that's young people, elderly, people who have underlying health conditions, people who are immunocompromised. Really, statistically, it's less likely that someone who's healthy and young is going to die from coronavirus, but like it still happens. It's a roll of a dice for any of us, which is really, really scary. And but for these vulnerable people, even more so. And I'm thinking right now about the people who are on lockdown, who are stuck inside with their abusive husbands, their abusive fathers, children who depend on school for that, like one healthy, warm meal a day. These are vulnerable people, and the people that we should be protecting, but the people we really should have been protecting. So, something like this happens, something like the tower happens, and suddenly all of those cracks that we kind of always knew were there are really, light is being shone on them, and we are really seeing the ways in which our society has failed on a systemic, widespread way. And when this is all over, which it will be at some point, in the immortal words of Jeff Goldblum, life finds a way. Things will return again to some sort of normality. I don't know what form that will take. But if we're going to think about it in terms of Jurassic Park, because why not? The dinosaurs are out now, right? The raptors are loose. Everything's out of its cage. It's chaos. At some point, when things get back under control, are we going to build our Jurassic Park in exactly the same way as it was before? Are we going to put our faith in the same people, in the same things? Are we going to build it with the same mistakes in it, the same weaknesses? When this card comes up in a reading, if I'm doing a reading for someone, I always think about it and explain it like a forest fire that just comes through and burns everything to the ground and everything is destroyed. And there's this period of grief. There's a great article floating around at the moment. I think it's the Harvard Business Review or something like that. It's about what we're all feeling right now is grief, which is so true. I think so anyway. So there'll be grief, and then there's mourning, and then there's that rebuilding. There's those green shoots that come up after a forest fire, after everything is destroyed. We have the opportunity to build something again. And now is the time to think about what responsibilities we have. Do we have a responsibility? I think we do. To the people around us who are vulnerable, to the people around us who aren't vulnerable, to our children, to our parents, our grandparents. What world are we going to build? How is it going to be shaped? How will we shape it? Is it our responsibility? What can we do? Maybe there's not much that we individually can do. Maybe there is, I don't know. But it's just worth thinking about that right now, I think. What comes next, and what do we want it to look like? Because now we are seeing all the ways, the many, many ways that we have failed as a society, as a human race. And it can't happen like this again. Sorry, I'm getting quite emotional. We have to be better next time. We have to help each other more. We have to have a society that is not as weak and vulnerable as it is right now. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about right now. In the chaos and destruction, these people here are upside down. This is the right way up. If they're upside down, they're seeing everything from a completely different angle. That's the one benefit, really, of when the world turns upside down. We can see things from a perspective that we have never even contemplated before. We're all upside down right now. What do we see? What do we want to see? That's what I'm thinking about. Okay, so stay at home, stay sane, healthy, safe, etc.